Welcome to The Road to Innovation, powered by the Kleinert Foundation. On each episode, we delve into innovative solutions to society's most pressing issues like sex trafficking, homelessness, and poverty. We hope that with each conversation, you'll be inspired to take actionable steps towards social change. Here's your host, Hannah Rabalais from the Kleinert Foundation.
Welcome to the Road to Innovation podcast powered by the Kleinert Foundation. I'm your host, Hannah Rabalais. And because this is our first podcast, I just want to do a brief little introduction and give you a little bit more information about the Kleinert Foundation. So in addition to hosting this wonderful podcast, I am also serving as a program officer at the Kleinert Foundation. The Kleinert Foundation is actually a private family foundation based here in Dallas, Texas. Our founders are Chris and Ashley Kleinert, and our mission is to understand and address social issues with a focus on sex trafficking and vulnerable populations in our community. The Kleinert Foundation is a resource led by compassion for our community, innovation, and collaboration. We are dedicated to radically listening to those on the ground, moving the needle forward in our community. Over the past 2 years, it has been a privilege and an honor to experience firsthand the innovation being done in our community, whether that be social entrepreneurs, social innovators, community leaders, philanthropists, you name it. There's just so much great work being done in Dallas, and that is probably really the reason why our founders wanted to start this podcast, is kind of create dialogue, to create this conversation, to give these organizations, these people a platform to speak and really share the great work that they're doing, because they're really blazing trails and doing things that no one has really done before. And we just want to get that information out to the community and share that with you. So thank you so much for tuning into our first podcast. It is a great honor and privilege. Without further ado, I would love to introduce you to our first guest. I have Jacob Johnson here, founder and director of Calyan Wax Company. And then we have Stephen Engstrom. He is the director of marketing. Hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, this is great. This is fun.
Yes, it's very official in here, so thanks y'all for just kind of rolling with it. I appreciate it.
Love it.
So to kick off things, you have grown substantially, and so I know most people are familiar with you, but for those who are not, can you just give like a brief overview of Calyan Wax Company?
Absolutely. For those two people that have yet to hear about
right,
us.
those two people.
So we are our Calyan Wax Company. We are a social venture with a mission against human trafficking here in America specifically. So we craft natural soy wax products and then give back to nonprofits we believe are doing tangible, gritty, in-the-field work, combating the issue of human trafficking, helping restore the lives of survivors, and helping prevent the act from happening in the first place. So we combine candles and human trafficking and present that to the everyday person and say, hey, here is a very simple way for you to engage in a worthy social mission. Simply enjoy a candle.
Wonderful. So why did y'all choose human trafficking as the issue you wanted to highlight in your business?
So originally, human trafficking got on my radar in a variety of instances. It wasn't one big pinnacle moment. Rather, it was a series of events throughout my life that really called me to the issue of human trafficking specifically versus the plethora of social missions that are worthy out there. And so when in 2013, I went to a conference called the Passion Conference in Houston, and there the Indent movement was describing the issue of human trafficking and showcasing that, hey, this does exist. They're most recognized by the red X on your hand,
yes.
Which was a fantastic awareness campaign. It worked specifically on me.
And it's still going, yes.
And it's still going, which is really cool. And then also just seeing the effects of that type of abuse, even within my own family, and seeing how it's something you grapple with for your entire life.
Yes.
It's not something that you go to some counseling and kind of move on from. It's something that you carry with you. And that just, I think, softened my heart to that issue a little bit more. And so just kind of combining those and then just generally thinking about human trafficking. If you don't within you say something ought to be done about that, I think something might be a little wrong. Because human trafficking is horrendous if you think about the issue for just a minute. Think about what's going on, the different things at play. And it's
Can you
something
talk
that...
about just a little bit of those things? Like, what grabbed your heart about the issue of human trafficking?
Well, the idea that a human is being bought. Humans are not tangible items to be disposed of or used like we would buy a car. And
Or order a pizza. I've heard that
or order
reference.
a pizza. That's a huge one. And so when you're thinking about that, just the dignity behind it, the lack of dignity, is really just awful. And personally, I feel a conviction to care for the vulnerable. I believe God loves us and he loves all his children. And we are there to share that love with other people and to show them, hey, people do care about you. God loves you, and we want to help you.
Yeah. Stephen, what about you? How did the issue of human trafficking grab your heart? Because you're here for a reason. You joined on this crazy startup with Jacob. You have to be somewhat interested or even understanding it. Yes.
Of course. So I am different than Jacob in that I don't think there's this huge moment in my life where, okay, this is a really big, I didn't go to Passion Conference. I didn't have just close hand encounters with this issue. But I always go back to just, there's a verse in the Bible, Proverbs 31, 8 and 9, correct? Correct. Thank you. But it says, speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. And that is, that's kind of been our theme throughout this whole business, is we want to speak up for all these survivors and all these people, these victims of sex trafficking who have no voice. And we want to provide justice. We want to provide freedom and hope to them. So I don't want to sit idly by and let this continue happening. I want to do something about it. I want to be on the field, if I can say that.
I think you can,
I can, thank you.
And I really love y'all's tagline is your candles are really restoring lives. And something so simple is having such a great impact in our community. So did the candles come first, or did the mission to help the human trafficking survivors? Which came first for you, Jacob?
Yeah, so I always joke that I did not grow up dreaming about soy wax and fragrance oil. First, the passion existed. I knew I wanted to do something about this issue. And so I grappled with, and we ran a little t-shirt company at one point and had this idea for a nonprofit police force. And in the end, I discovered that there are incredible nonprofits doing incredible work that simply lack additional resources to expand their efforts or to continue doing what they're doing. And so rather go the nonprofit route, I said, hey, let's create a business where we can offer something of true value to somebody. I think that's a big key point, something of true value that you can enjoy, that we can then donate back or give back portions of our revenue to nonprofits we believe in. So going on that premise, we're like, we need a product that people can really enjoy, that they can get excited about, that they're familiar with, probably already buying. As we heard earlier, you have 40 candles in your home. We hear that story all the time. And something, most importantly, that people can afford. Something that the everyday person can engage with is really, I'm very passionate about that. And that's why we try to have all our products. Our most expensive product right now is $25. And it goes all the way down to $6.
Oh, wow.
So you can really engage with that. And so candles really fit the bill for all of those things we wanted out of a product. And that's where candles were born. And we love the decision. We've grown to love candles, sometimes hate them during testing when they don't work, but we love the product that we created, and we see people are really enjoying that, and that gives us confidence that we're on the right track.
Well, I have a funny story for when I first met y'all. So y'all are based in Mansfield, and we are in Addison. And so I've been hearing so much about Calyan because we work with Traffic 911 or know George Lynch, the CEO there. And he's like, you have to meet these guys. They're about your age. They're millennials. They're doing some great work. And I reached out to you and emailed you, and you're like, yeah, come by the candle shop. I just want to, I want to see what y'all are doing. And you just welcome me with open arms. You send me an address. And I'm pulling through Mansfield in this neighborhood. I'm like, where am I going? And then it's just this home, and I'm like, okay, and you're like, yeah, come on back, and like walk down the driveway, and then there's like, it's not a shed, what would you call it?
We have different names for it.
What's
we call it a
your
cabin,
favorite?
a shop, a glorified shed.
Manufacturing facility.
Yeah.
Manufacturing, yes, high-tech manufacturing facility in your mom's backyard. You're like, oh yeah, this is my mom's house, don't mind. Like, we have people all over
There's the
all
dogs,
the time.
don't mind them.
Dog was barking. Toby was definitely barking at you.
So, humble beginnings.
Very humble beginnings. We actually started in a bedroom inside the house.
Oh, so that was the upgraded facility.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you saw the fancy one.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Before, it's just a white table and a dresser next to my bed. We melted the wax down on the dresser and poured on the white table.
And where are you now? And where are you going? Because you're bedroom, shed, and now you're opening up a space, like an actual manufacturing space, a potential retail store, event center. Can you share a little bit about that?
Go for it. No.
You're the director of marketing. Thanks.
Here, let me
So
share.
official. Well, so we've been making steps, and our motto right now is to not move until we absolutely have to. And we decided at the beginning of this year, if things keep showing up, if we continue to grow, we need to actively be looking to really expand this and in my world actually become legitimate. I know we are legitimate, but our space is pretty rudimentary. And so we are moving into about a 5,000 square foot space in South Arlington.
Wow.
Hopefully in the next 3-ish months, we shall see. It's in permitting and build out stage right now. But that's going to allow us the space to manufacture more efficiently, to have all the warehouse space, to actually have our raw materials inside. Right now we have like
so
these,
nice.
it's just these basic things we're getting so excited about.
Yeah.
But we have like these tents over pallets of wax or glass that get delivered to us. And of course, everybody that comes is confused. Like, I was looking for a warehouse and kept seeing this house, thought I was lost. Like, no, just drop the pallet off here and okay.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're super pumped about that. We'll have an office space and really, we're really excited about just being able to host events and bring people in and show people how we make the products, meet people, and also have a little retail area where people can come, just smell firsthand and buy from us.
So the jump from your mom's backyard to this facility did not happen overnight. And I know there's been some challenges, some triumphs. So can y'all each share just some challenges that y'all faced along the way? Because y'all started in 2017. So it is incredible to see, just even from last year meeting y'all, where have you been in the past 2 years? So can you just share a little bit of that journey, kind of get into the nitty gritty of, especially if people who are listening are thinking about starting their own company or even adding that component in, like the give back component to their current business. Just share that journey, because entrepreneurship, like we were talking about earlier in the car, like you wear so many different hats. There's so many things going on. There's fires everywhere. How has that journey been? And can you just share some of the challenges and how you've overcome those?
I will start. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you start with the
I was
challenges.
like, as you were asking, I was like, now I have to answer. One of the challenges I think for me is that this is my first time building a business. I've never done anything like this before. This is totally new and very much outside of my comfort zone and outside of my realm of expertise. My realm of expertise is like really, really small. So everything is outside of my realm. But I think just doing things and like throwing stuff out there. So for me personally, it's like marketing things and like, Instagram and emails and all that fun stuff. But it's just like throwing stuff out there and like just getting it out there and then getting better over time. And then just seeing us grow has been super encouraging. People giving feedback on just the candles, the mission, and all that fun stuff. But sorry, that's all I got. But just the whole marketing side of things, like I'm not an expert in marketing, but
well, appears to. If you look on your website and the Instagram, I mean, you could have fooled me, but
Well,
you are a professional.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it looks great.
That means a lot.
Absolutely, and we get a lot of compliments on Stephen's work and on our Instagram, and everything we're doing is kind of for the first time ever. Had some limited experience and dabbled in some other little businesses that didn't really take off, and so it's just learning how to do things and just doing it for the first time and making the mistakes can be fun and can be frustrating back and forth. For me, I think some of the biggest challenges One has been just the mental side of everything, being so engrossed, so obsessed over the success of a business. There's been times where I've really struggled with not having my self-worth or my self-value in the success or failure of the business. So thankfully I've had mentors remind me that, hey, Calyan being a success or a failure does not dictate Jacob as a human being a success and a failure. And that's a big mental shift there, because it can really mess with your mental state, and it goes into all other sides of your life, and your marriage and your friendships and your community and all of that if you're being affected by this business.
Well, you're also a social enterprise, so people, like, if you do not succeed, you're not able to give back an amount of money to the organization. So not only is it on you personally for your business, but there's organizations relying on those donations. So no pressure.
I know. Yeah, I'm getting nervous as you say it. You're right. Oh no. Yes, there is a lot of. I feel a lot of pressure, especially as we grow and we are hiring more people. I feel, and we've taken on some investors recently, and so we have other owners, and so the pressure to succeed is only increased. And the challenge for me is, am I going to let that pressure overtake me? And am I going to become just a ball of anxiety and to be no fun to be around when I'm at home, because I'm always thinking or obsessing over some issue at the business? And that's where I really rely on good mentors to speak truth into me, and then also rely on my Heavenly Father and giving up things to Him, trusting Him that He's got a grand plan for this. It may be to grow Calyan worldwide, or it may be to fade it out. But I am trusting that His plan is perfect, and it is the best plan for my life. And that gives me peace each day. And I wake up most mornings and say, God, I'm going to trust you. I'm giving this over to you. On my end, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to work diligent. And I'm going to ask you to move in really big ways. And so, yeah.
Can you share with our audience, we were just talking in the car, Whole Foods opened its door to y'all, and now you're in so Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, is that all the states? Louisiana.
Yes.
How did that come about? I mean, you're 2 years old, and all of a sudden you're in Whole Foods regionally. That does not happen.
That is kind of cool.
Sometimes it's kind of fun. Yeah. No, this is what I'm talking about. I've got my head down doing things that I'm I don't really know how to do this. But then we look up and I'm oh, we're with Whole Foods. We're getting a space. People are saying positive things about our candles and our missions, stuff like that. Yeah. And we're just doing our thing. And I don't know, that's what's been encouraging. But yeah, talk about Whole Foods, man.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well,
I don't even know. We're in Whole Foods? What?
Yeah. So we got to be a part of a Spring on the Silos, or Spring at the Silos event down in Magnolia.
Shout out to
Waco, Texas. Shout out to Chip and Joanna Gaines. If you're watching, I'm sure you are.
Hopefully you're watching and listening. We love that. Hey.
Yes, and we got to be a vendor there at that fair, which it was an incredible experience. It's, I think, 3 days. It was insane traffic and got to meet so many really cool people. And there, a local forager for Whole Foods reached out. They saw we were going to be there and reached out and requested more information, and actually got to stop by our booth, and we got to meet her and her husband personally.
Casual. Okay.
It was oddly casual, which I really appreciated. And that's been our experience with Whole Foods. Very down to earth and been a pleasure to work with.
Yeah.
And so from there, it's kind of the standard process of sending in samples, talking through logistics, talking through pricing, production capabilities, all the things that you have to have your ducks in a row, insurance and UPCs and
Did you take them
everything.
to your mom's backyard? Did
No.
they?
So thankfully, I met them. I went to them.
Oh, perfect.
In Fort Worth, and then we sent samples down to headquarters in Austin.
Excellent.
And once we have our space, though, we hope to invite even the big players.
This is where it's been happening the whole time.
Yes, and they are aware.
Yes, I know. Yes.
They understand. It is interesting, that dynamic production. And so from there, it really was God's blessing on the business. We found favor with the buyers and the decision makers. They liked our product. We have been obsessing over every single detail, from labels to wax, fragrance oils, fragrances, packaging.
I mean, it is incredible. I wish y'all could smell this right now. So we have oak moss and amber with us. How would you describe this scent for those who are lilistening?
Highly sophisticated.
It's very sophisticated, yes.
Maybe
it's
not.
one of my
I would
favorites.
say, yeah. It's definitely neutral. So both men and women really love it.
I agree.
Do you know the
Some
notes?
of the notes are sage, grapefruit, orange,
lavender,
some moss. So it's got some earthy, it's got a hint of floral, and then a little bit of citrus as well. So it comes together. It is our most popular fragrance.
People say it's very masculine.
It can be. It can be described as a mandel, as someone say.
Mandel?
A man
I've
candle.
never heard that. That's hilarious.
Or that missing man in your life. I've heard that one multiple times. I'm like, you can have the candle be your man for right now, in this stage of life.
You're giving back. Exactly. You can have this and do good.
Yes, absolutely.
But I love that Whole Foods takes notice of the quality of your candle. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions around social enterprises that, you're doing good and like people, I wouldn't want to call it a pity purchase, but you're actually buying a high quality product. And I just think that's incredible about y'all and about social enterprises. I think there's been a level up. It's not just, buying something from an artisan now. I mean, you are, but it's just been so much elevated the past couple of years. So Whole Foods notices it, and I think that's incredible.
They did, and that is a really key point. We want you to be able to enjoy a quality product that is comparable to the product next to it. The biggest difference is the give back component, and we don't want you to have to pity buy it or say, oh, for the social mission, I'll buy it, I probably won't use it, or I'll gift it away on Christmas or something. We want you to truly be able to enjoy your purchase and to find value in it. I think that's the powerful combination, I think.
Yes. Well, let's pivot back to your model. So you identify as a social enterprise. Do you identify as like the give back model, or what do you call your business model?
Give back, definitely.
Give back.
So it's a very simple model per se compared to other models out there, and it's not necessarily a super revolutionary model. Our goal is to just do it very well and very transparently, and transparently is the highlight there. So you know exactly what's being donated, who it's being donated to, and the impact of that donation and of your purchase.
Yeah.
So that is structured right now as simply 5% of our revenue. Big key distinguisher between revenue and profits. A lot of enterprises that are great go off of a profit donation model or percentage of profits. We've chosen to do revenue as it's a little bit more simple to understand, as in if you're buying it directly from us, it's 5% of that purchase. If you're buying it at a store, it's 5% of what they purchased it from us for. And we can just showcase it very simply. 5% of our revenue, here's the amount, this is what we donated. So that's where we're currently at.
And I love that it's on your website. So there's a tab on your website, it's called Impact. So you click on that and it pops up. So can you share you have made a pivot in the past 2 years. Originally, I know this can be seen as a negative thing, but I would love to give you a moment just to explain why you went from donating 10% originally down to 5%.
Absolutely. That was one of the scariest pivots because Calyan and what we always want to showcase to people is we exist to end human trafficking. That is why Calyan exists. That is the ultimate goal. And so everything we do, we want to showcase that to people. And so at first, we actually started at 15% of revenue at the very beginning. This is before I knew what it really took financially to run a business and to actually maybe pay yourself.
Maybe.
Yeah. And other people like Stephen and all our great guys. And so and we quickly moved it to 10. We realized, okay, that is far too much. But then 10 to 5 was a really scary pivot, as it was a little further along where we were a little more known. We were out there and people associated 10%. But then we started to think a little more big picture. Two things. One, we realized, hey, we want our products to always be competitively priced. If we want to be on Whole Foods shelves or on Target shelves eventually, we've got to come in with a competitive price point, and we can't just hide behind a social mission of, hey, this is astronomically higher, but the social mission.
Yeah.
It doesn't work all the time. It can work in a boutique scenario and in other scenarios, but for the mass market, we wanted to showcase we've got a competitively priced candle that gives back as well. And so we realized just financially, if we want to be competitive, we've got to reduce this. Once we see our true scope, we have some financials to look at. And then secondly, we have a vision to be a source of employment for survivors coming out of the trade. This is still in the works. It's still a little ways out. A big piece of it is having a space that's conducive.
Yes.
And then working with our partner, Traffic 911, to really build that out and to be a source of employment through that, we hope to only drastically increase our social impact as we are financially giving back, and we're also providing opportunity for survivors to get back on their feet, learn vital skills, and to help them through that restoration process. So all of this, the whole shift, the mentality of it all from 10 to 5 has been, we want to increase our social impact. It still was scary as all get out when we sent out that email and sent out the reasoning, because we want people to know the true heart behind it. And I really appreciate you asking that, just to get to kind of share the thought behind it.
Because this isn't easy. So we haven't really talked about the actual organization you're currently partnered with, Traffic 911. So you kind of can you share the story of why Traffic 911? What was your vetting process like, and how did they also take the 10% down to 5% give back? Because that does affect their donation, but I'm sure they're understanding, why. But can you just share about why Traffic 911?
So at the very beginning, when I was kind of fumbling through the different pieces of the business, the social component being one of the biggest pieces, and figuring out who are we going to partner with. Traffic 911, I found them on a Google search originally, and decided to go to one of their volunteer orientations. I felt a little covert about it, but I really just wanted to see how are they onboarding volunteers, and what is this organization really about?
Yes.
Absolutely. And there is actually George Lynch, the CEO of Traffic 911, that was doing the orientation. And so just to get to meet him personally, hear the passion and how they're going about solving the issue and how they're training their volunteers, when I left that, I told my now wife, she came with me, that this is the organization for us. It was pretty simple. It was very clear. From there, of course, we had to reach out and say, hey, would you be interested in this partnership? Of course, the answer was yes, but we also wanted a specific mission within Traffic 911 or operation that we could help fund for the end goal of showcasing to the consumer that, hey, this is the exact impact you had. And so they just happened kind of in general time frame of when the Kleinert Foundation was started too, which is interesting. In 2017, Traffic 911 was starting their Voice and Choice Advocate program that we are helping fund to this day. And Steve, do you want to share a little bit more about specifically what the Voice and Choice program does?
Yeah, as best as I can. I mean, I'm not in it every day. We're more making candles and selling candles than kind of like keeping up with all the day-to-day with the Voice and Choice Advocacy program. But I completely support everything that Traffic 911 is doing, especially through the Voice and Choice Advocacy program. So they have a 24/7 response team, and Jacob, if you hear me say anything wrong about this, then...
No, you got it. I will, though.
Jump on it. Trust me, I will. So they've got a 24/7 response team that services the whole DFW area. So if law enforcement or if hospitals or someone comes into contact with a victim of sex trafficking that's under 18, then Traffic 911 will send an advocate, a representative, that will respond to that crisis call and basically go straight up to the young boy or girl, most likely a girl, but they'll go straight up to them and say, hey, I'm your person. I'm not leaving until you're safe, no matter what these other people around you, like officers or other people responding to this, whatever they do, I'm here for you, and I'm not leaving until you're safe. And they'll go to, from there, they will stay connected with the young person, and they'll go to therapy, they'll go to counseling, They describe themselves to us as the mortar between the brick, or like the glue that holds all of these things together, so that they don't get lost in between the cracks, where like group therapy, counseling, work and stuff like that. What I love about them is that they will celebrate birthday parties with them, and graduation parties, and new jobs, and finishing school and stuff like that. They really believe in trust-based relationships, which I am all about. And the more they talk about, the more I'm like, yes, that is amazing.
I know, it just gets you so excited.
Yeah, and then they're all followers of Jesus, so they're also presenting Christ to them, and I'm just like, win.
Everybody wins.
I think there's a reason I felt so at peace at the very beginning that this is the organization for us to start with.
That's incredible.
It's just proving right.
And y'all just recently gave you do quarterly donations, is that correct? So can you share to date how much you've been able to donate to Traffic 911? I just think it's so incredible, because I feel like, especially there's a lot of bad or negative, I don't know how to call it, but people are like, oh, well, the impact is not great. Like, you're only giving 5% back. Like, what is that really actually doing? But it adds up, and it has done so much for Traffic 911. Can you just share, one, how much you've been able to give since 2017, and kind of what have, you've explained the program, what it's doing, but like, how has that made them feel, and what have they been able to do themselves?
So yes, 5% does seem small, but it does add up, and it is adding up. So far to date, we've been able to donate over $39,000.
Can you say that one more time?
39,000 million. I'm saying $39,000.
That is incredible.
So far, and so sometimes I'm like, man, was there an easier way to raise $39,000 for Traffic 911? And I don't know. I don't think there might be, but this is a way where we're getting to just engage so many people, and that's where I really get excited. Is these are our everyday normal people saying, I want to make an impact with my purchase, and so that 39,000 represents thousands of small little decisions of people saying, I want to make an impact, versus just one person writing a check or something. And so that gets me equally as excited that we're engaging so many people and making them aware that, hey, yes, human trafficking exists. Yes, people are doing things about it, and they need help. They need your help.
And you can get a candle if you help.
And you get something of true value. I'm going to say that so much, but you get something of true value in exchange for it, which I think is really cool.
I love it. I love that you're proving 5% does something. It really does make an impact. It really does matter to these organizations. So what advice would you have or give to someone who is wanting either to start a social enterprise, or even incorporate some kind of give back component to their existing business? Do you have any advice?
You start this time.
All right. I think number one, the thing that jumps out at me is transparency. That has been something that's been like my nightmare since day one, is like CNN headline of like fraud or whatever, and I'm like talking or something.
It should be everybody's nightmare. Just want to say that. Yes.
Yes. And so I just, of course, am so vigilant against that, and want to showcase, like, we take pictures with the checks.
Yes.
We've learned to cover up our account numbers.
Good. That's good.
We've been like too transparent. Here's a screenshot of our bank account.
You can directly donate from this routing number.
Yeah, that's a good spin on it. Yeah, if you want to use that for good, you can send money, wire money to it. But in the end, make sure that you are abundantly transparent in whatever model you choose. And you're showcasing to people, and you're not just telling them, but you're showing some sort of proof. And then are eager to share direct impact, or exactly who you're donating to, why you chose them. Having all those answers ready and really thinking through that, I think is really key, so that you're never painted as an organization that is using it as a marketing ploy, which of course we all are familiar with. We see it, and thankfully a lot of times we can see right through it.
Yes.
I think you can see the authenticity, or you learn to trust, and I hope that's what we're building with Calyan, is that you can trust us. We don't expect you to trust us right away, but we expect you to dive into the details and find what you need, and we're always open about that, and we're very receptive to it. I understand somebody not being trusting at the very beginning. I'd be the same way.
Exactly.
And so that would probably be my number one thing, to make sure that you've thought through the details and you're transparent about it.
That's good. Powerful.
That is really good. I would say, similar to transparency, just be very genuine and be authentic. I think that one reason that we have been successful and we've seen our growth is that Jacob is very genuine. We're the nicest to each other when we're like in front of.
You are an old married couple. I just love this dynamic.
It's only
right
for the
here.
camera.
It's
Come
only
on.
for the camera. Yeah, I'm only saying this.
I'm like kicking him under the table right now.
No, but for real, Jacob is very genuine. He's very authentic, and
so
yeah,
are you. I just need to call out Stephen.
Thank
you are too.
Thank you. I wasn't fishing for
He
that.
definitely is. That is why we work well together.
But I think that like people are going to notice that, like you said, if everything is just for the dollar amount, like for people to buy something, then I don't know. It's really easy to see that, but Jacob really does, and I can speak for both of us, we really do have a passion to see human trafficking, like to make a dent in this and to see lives restored. And we really do have a passion for making a product that we really care about. And so I think that whoever is going, like if anyone is out there building something like that, I just want to like be passionate about what you're passionate about, and then tell that story and not tell it in a way of you're helping me fulfill my passion, but like join me in this passion. Let's do this together. So that's kind of how we've been trying to, address everyone is we have this passion. We want you to, we're inviting you to join us and to enjoy an awesome product and then also take part in something that's much bigger than yourself.
Wow.
So that all came from Jacob's mind. I'm like a disciple of Jacob right now.
Oh my God. Well, I could talk to y'all for hours. I have so many other questions, and maybe we can do a part 2 podcast episode. But I want to end, and we want to end our podcast on, what is y'all's call to action?
Buy 1,000 candles today.
Right now.
We would really love for you to go to our website to dig into the information and to make a candle purchase. That is how you can engage with us. Also, you can go to your local or research local nonprofits, volunteer directly with them, donate directly to them. If you're willing to give up that extra time and energy, nonprofits need our help. In the end, a very simple way is for you to engage with us and enjoy one of our products. And you can go to our website and easily purchase any of them.
Stephen, anything to add?
I would say educate yourself on, am I looking at the right camera? Yeah, that one right. Yeah. I would say educate yourself on just the effects of human trafficking or sex trafficking, and then get involved with organizations or buy a candle, or there's so many other organizations that are doing amazing things, have amazing products that you can purchase to support. But yeah, definitely education. That has really, there's
big.
So many movies. I could list.
Do not watch Taken. That's my call to action is do not watch Taken.
Because that's not how, yeah. Because that gives a false view.
Especially in the United States, it definitely kind of just is not completely accurate for the issue.
I recently watched Nefarious. How do you say
That's
it?
A good one.
That one's a really good one.
Exodus Cry.
I was crying. So go watch Nefarious, go cry, and then do something about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And just to kind of wrap everything up, everyone has a part to play. Everyone can do something. Take a simple action like purchasing a candle, educating yourself, getting the facts. So just thank you both for being here. And thank you all for tuning in to the Road to Innovation podcast powered by the Kleinert Foundation. Again, my name is Hannah Rabalais, and we appreciate your time and energy in listening to our podcast. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of The Road to Innovation, powered by the Kleinert Foundation. If you'd like to learn more about today's social innovator, please visit kleinertfdn.org or the podcast website at theroadtoinnovation.com.